In this video, we're going to highlight a cool little trick where you can merge your two brigades into a single brigade for purposes of the battle. And then what will happen is at the end of the battle, when you go back to this camp screen, they'll be broken back up into their two separate units. So as you can see here, we have the CS Richmonds, which is a 500-man brigade with really good muskets. And then you have the Farmers, which are obviously the worst muskets, with 2,000-man brigade. So first and foremost, I want to highlight the fact that your limitations are going to be the amount of troops you can have in a particular brigade. So our army organization for purposes of this scenario is all the way up, which means we can have a maximum of 2,500 men in your brigade. But that's going to be your limitation, is whatever your army organization is, this is going to be your limfac. In other words, if your army brigades can only be, or your infantry brigades can only be 1,500, then clearly you're not going to be able to merge this 500-man brigade with anybody else, because that would be over the 1,500 threshold. But I'm going to demonstrate how to do this, and you're going to want to do it in two circumstances. One, where either the CS Richmonds or the Farmers brigades here have lost their officer due to wounded in action or killed in action, because merging them will then get the leadership trait back as far as all these different stats you get from this leadership modifier from the officer. You'll get that back because the division commander will then step in and take over the lead for the brigades. A second reason is if you want to upgrade a particular brigade with better weapons. So I wouldn't necessarily call this cheating, although I do think it kind of manipulates the game in some way. Because what happens is if you take the Richmonds and you merge them with the Farmers, you're going to have a 2,500-man brigade with Richmonds. So instead of a 500-man brigade of Richmonds, you have 2,500. However, you do suffer some hits here on your skills, which I'll highlight for you in a moment. But just be aware that you can do that, where you can take a highly elite small brigade of, say, Richmonds here, or let's see, what are the other kind of guns we can get? Or Fayettevilles, for example. Say we had 500 Fayettevilles. We can merge them in with the Farmers and make it a 2,500-man brigade. So let me show you how to do that on the battlefield. So the first thing I want to highlight here is that this particular tactic only applies to infantry. You can't actually do it with artillery. As you can see, there's no icon down here in the hotkey tab that's available for you to merge artillery batteries. Same thing for cavalry. Even though we can do up to 750 in a particular unit, there's no option here for cavalry to do that. And then finally, with your skirmishers, same thing. You can do up to, I think, 500, and we don't have that option. So that's the first thing to note, that it's only for your infantry brigades that you can do this. Number two is you want to make sure that the unit that you want to merge into the other brigade is the nearest. So technically, we can merge the CS Richmonds into Trig or Pew as well. However, the way this function works is you just simply click the Combined Division tab, or you click Y, which is a hotkey, and what it'll do is it's going to merge the closest one, the nearest one that it can actually merge into. If you highlight over it, it'll actually tell you some information. It says, hey, the largest you can do is 2,500, which again is based on your army management skill. So yours might be 1,500 or 2,000. And then a single division can be controlled more easily. Another limfac is that it has to be a brigade within the same division. So if Farmers, for example, was in a different division than Richmond, this wouldn't work. If Richmond, Trig, and Pew were in one division and Farmers was in another, then the only brigades that CS Richmond could merge with is Trig or Pew. So that's another thing to be aware of. Again, as I mentioned before, part of the reason you might want to merge brigades is if, say, Farmers' commander here had been killed in battle or was wounded. So you want to give him an officer, and so what you would do is you'd take this officer here, merge him with Farmers, and then the division commander would take over. So he would basically go back into your reserve pool. A second reason you may want to do it is you may want to beef up both of these brigades and make them into a super brigade. So you may want to take this 2,000-man force with the Farmers, put the 500-man Richmonds in it, and have a 2,500-man CS Richmond brigade for the battle. Then when you go back to the camp screen, they'll be broken back up. So let's demonstrate this. So you take the CS Richmonds, so you take the unit that you want to merge into another. That's how you do it. So the Richmonds, and then you literally just click the Combined Division tab, and what they will do is it will automatically find the nearest brigade that it can merge into and do it. So as you can see here, we've got forget what his name is, but notice he's a I want to say colonel. And then we've got a brigadier general, looks like. Or maybe he's a lieutenant colonel. I forget how the ranks work with the CSA. But and then we'll go over the stats here and talk about how those adjust as well. But all right, so we're going to merge them and go from there. So we hit the merge tab, and now they're going to walk over to the nearest brigade. Do this up just really quick here. Okay. So as you can see now, we have a 2,500 man brigade. Notice the icon here has changed, which tells you, just kind of for purposes of battlefield perspective, hey, I've got a merged brigade here. You can basically detach them again if you want to. But notice now it's 2,500. Notice now it's your division commander who is overseeing this brigade, which means now your division commander can be shot and killed or wounded, so that's important to note. The first thing to know with regards to this particular function is that notice now the 2,500 men have the Richmonds. All 2,500, not just 500. So that's the first thing. So their overall capabilities are going to be drastically increased in terms of their reload, their efficiency, and their melee. However, also note that their skills have also been adjusted. So the 2,000 man brigade that we had a command of 61. Now it's 75, and it's 75 because you have a higher ranking officer leading this brigade, namely your division commander. So that's why the command points are higher. The efficiency, though, was 25, now it's 20. The morale was 19, now it's 21. The stamina was 30, now it's down to 21. The firearms was 20, it's still 20, and the melee was 20 and still 20. So the reason that these numbers adjusted is that you took the average of the two brigades and merged them into one. So just be aware of that if you're taking a very green brigade and merging it with a very elite brigade, that the overall numbers for that brigade are going to decrease and not be as good, right? So it's not going to be as elite. So just be aware that these numbers do change. Another thing I checked too to verify is that for Triggs and Pew, they're still within the same division overseen by this division commander, but their traits did not adjust at all. Their skills remain the same, which means you don't lose the division leadership traits that you get from your division commander when he takes over a brigade. That's not affected. He simply takes over this brigade. You lose one or both of those brigade commanders, and then now he's on the battlefield, which means he can be shot and killed, which is a consequence of that. But now you have a 25-man brigade with a much better weapon. So rule of thumb, you use this function in two ways: to basically replace a brigade that's missing a commander, or to improve the efficiency and lethality of a brigade by giving them a better weaponed brigade. I think in either circumstance it works. Just be aware that the limb facts they have to be in the same division. They can only be infantry. It's going to be the nearest brigade that unit goes to, and it's going to be limited by the size of the brigade that you can maintain. So, for example, in this case, our maximum is 2,500. Because this is a 1,500 man brigade, there's nobody we're going to be able to merge him with that'll bring him up to 2,500. And it always has to be the smaller of the two brigades that you're going to merge with. So, for example, you can't merge a 1,500 man brigade with a 1,000 man brigade. It would have to be a 1,000 man brigade with a 1,500. So hopefully that helped. I hope that quick video was helpful for you and gave you a new tool in your toolbox to use in the battlefield. And I look forward to bringing out some more tutorials that you would find helpful. As always, if you found this video helpful, like and subscribe. Helps other people find these videos and perhaps encourages them to play the game. And also, too, if you have any additional comments you want to add with regards to this type of tactic and how you use it, please add those comments in the description below. Thanks.